Hey, we take whatever we can get. I, because we know the Cubs need all the help they can get. I don't. It's kind of like the way it was kind of drawn up in spring training. You had goals and levels that you were hoping to see players reach, and I think for many of them, they have gotten close to those goals. There's a few that aren't there yet, but I think overall you have to be happy. You have to feel good about the direction that some of these younger players are headed. Yeah. Seem like they have a good runway to go with. It's something that you feel good about. Now, there's still guys who are trying to figure out what their role is. I think the Gordon Graceffo emergence is something that we all better start paying closer attention to. Where is Chris Rycroft laying in this? We're really kind of one guy short in the bullpen right now. But that may even itself out with Matt being more of a long guy. But I like the composition as we speak. And there's still some guys in Memphis that are going to probably add to this before it's all over with. And at some point, when you get near the trade deadline and you think you're competitive, you're going to probably look around to find another arm somewhere, a veteran arm somewhere like we've seen in the past.
Yeah, I think, Claves, the bullpen situation is interesting because all season long they've been able to trust three guys in Kyle Leahy, Phil Maton, and Ryan Helsley. And that just wasn't enough. You need more than three guys that you can trust because they're not going to pitch every single day. As much as they rode, especially Leahy and Maton for a while, you need some other folks. So they're back to a five-man rotation, at least for the next month or so. There's going to be an off day just about every single week in the month of May. So that puts Steven Matz firmly in the bullpen for at least a month. And I'm not trying to, count any eggs before they hatch for sure, but what we've seen from Gordon Graceffo in his last 3 outings is really promising. And I think he's moved into that next guy. So you've got the 3 guys in Helsley, Maton, and Leahy. Then you have Steven Matz that you can trust and Gordon Graceffo. Claibs, in a perfect world, you would obviously have more than 5 guys that you're able to trust. But in the same sentence, if you got 5 guys you can trust out of the bullpen, that's going to take care of you to be able to complete a lot of wins that you want to be able to do.
No, I agree with you, Matt. And I kind of look at it this way also. You have to have your 1A and your A team, and you split your bullpen up with 4 guys that are going to be available to you every day. And that means somebody's going to have a day off. You throw in an off day, then you're going to have some guys with a couple of days off. And I think that's kind of how you have to run your pen these days because of the fact you use it so much. And you can't have one guy out there 3 days in a row. You have to be able to have some people that you mentioned you trust that can come in and give you a similar, if not better job when he's called upon. And I think that's how you have to look at it, which is why down the road, you're going to probably look around for another veteran arm that doesn't have too many innings on him at this point in the season.
We talked about that 6-man rotation a lot before it happened, while it was happening. And one of the questions to Ollie Marmol on the Gashouse Gang on Tuesday was, do you think it accomplished all of the goals that you set out to accomplish? I think for much of it, you know right now that it did. I guess in terms of injury and how guys feel, maybe you'll find that out a little bit later. But it seems like that worked out pretty well for them, didn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think you had like one little minor hiccup, but I think overall they dodged a big bullet. Being short in your bullpen and then, extending the starters. And, let's tip a cap to the starters who were able to give you an extra inning or a couple of extra outs that didn't require you going to the bullpen as often as you would have gone to in the past. But, yeah, they dodged the storm. So let me run this out to both you guys. We've had these off days, the month of May, I think we're off every Thursday. Would you like to see that more where you have a designated off day every week?
Yes. Yeah, I think it's better for everybody's health.
Yeah.
And look, sometimes it's going to be unavoidable if you have a rain out and then you have an open day that becomes your makeup
day. Yeah,
fine.
Exactly.
That's fine. But 20 straight games, which will happen a time or two a year. I never understood that. I think players in the sport, clearly it's better if guys are healthier by the end of the year. So if you give them that off day once a week, I think it would make everybody's job a whole lot easier and it'd make every team healthier. I've always advocated for something like that. I don't like these 14 straight game things that they do sometimes.
Are you saying, Claves, that the entire league is off for a day, or is it just you need an off day each week?
Here's what I would do. I would designate either Monday or Thursday as your off day. And you can if you have a makeup game, you do it on one of those days. And so you would have that every week. But with the exception of this, I would have maybe 4 games, 6 games that you can have for TV purposes on a national basis. If there's a matchup somewhere, I would do that, but everybody else would be off. And then those teams that played would have the following Thursday or Monday off. Here's what I would also do. I would start the season in March, and you would start the season in warm weather cities or in dome stadiums. That way, it creates a little bit more balance where you're not playing into the second week of November if you're going to have these more off days in play.
Yeah, and I know. Go ahead, Matt.
I like the idea of every team playing 6 days a week. I don't like the idea of there being a day where there's no baseball being played at all.
Anywhere.
So Claves addresses that. So as long as there's still a handful of games being played every single day, I'm good with a mandate that every team gets at least one day off.
Well, you could still do it if Mondays and Thursdays are the typical off days. Just make sure half the teams are off Monday, the other half are off on Thursday, right? So at least there's a game going on at all times. I do think it would make the sport a whole lot better. Because, again, health is so important and you want your best players healthy. And if you can give them that off day built in every single week, I think that helps. And I know there are people who will listen to this and say, well, it's baseball. They can play. It's not that difficult. You're not just standing around. No. And the days at the ballpark, and I don't feel sorry for players because they're well compensated. but being at the ballpark, they're not just getting there at like 5 o'clock. They don't show up at 5 and then go home at 10. Some of them are getting there in the morning, and they are there until 11 or later. Like, they are there all day, and it still is physically taxing. So I would be all on board with an idea like that. Make sure everybody has at least one day off a week.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it makes for a better brand, and I'll even throw another reason on why I would do it. Expansion is just around the corner. Okay, we're going to expand this thing by at least 2 teams. And what's the first thing we always talk about? We need more pitching. So there's not going to be enough pitching to go around. And if you're going to expand and you're going to try and find some more pitching, you're going to need guys that can stay healthy. You're going to need guys who you're going to have to grow with. And to put that effort on them as far as how the schedule is going to work, you better find some ways to make this a little bit more comfortable for everyone. Along with this, when you expand, why don't we go back to regional divisions where, it helps you on travel. It helps you do a lot of different things. I think they need to reorganize the whole way that the league is set up as far as divisions are concerned. We in St. Louis are pretty fortunate being in the middle of the country. We don't have those huge travel demands like you would if you play in Seattle or if you play in San Diego or you play in Miami. But I really feel like we need to kind of bring this together from a cost saving as well. There's a lot of things they can do when this next CBA comes up other than argue about money to make this game better.
Matt Pauley and Mike Claiborne, Chris Ranji here for the Gashouse Gang. Give us your thoughts and your questions. If you'd like to weigh in on the Cardinals, what they have been doing over the last week, we would like to hear from you. 314-436-7900. That's our number. Call and text it. Drop us a voice message right on the Odyssey app. Very easy to do. You should be listening to the show on the Odyssey app. And also, we are on Twitter at KMOX Sports. You can find us there. Watch us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. It's the Gashouse Gang coming back with more in a moment on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-921-5252. 800-921-5252. That's 800-921-5252.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-969-0686 and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-969-0686. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-969-0686 now to secure your $10 Gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-969-0686.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from the Gelman team of eXp Realty. Selling your home, every situation is unique. Find the best options that are right for you from the real estate team who offer more options. 314-336-1991. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
Anderson is the #1 window and door brand for customer service. Find out why Renewal by Anderson has the most 5-star reviews in St. Louis at rbastl.com or call 314-332-1957. rbastl.com.
KMOX is now on 104.1 FM, the same great station with even better sound.
That's grounded to third. Gorman backs up. He has it. His throw. Got him for a Redbird winner. Hayes grounds out third to first. And this ball game has come to an end. They set off the fireworks in downtown St. Louis, celebrating a 5-0 Cardinal combined shutout. Sonny Gray, Kyle Leahy, and Chris Roycroft.
Gashouse Gang is sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. With you until 1 o'clock from 12 to 1 every Monday through Friday on 104.1 FM KMOX. Mike Claiborne, Matt Pauley, Chris Ranji, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Find us at KMOX Sports. And you heard Nolan Gorman making the outs there. That is with the put out there, that is one of the players that we've been paying attention to a lot since the start of the season. Both he and Jordan Walker, young players who were given, and we've used this word a million times, runway, and we're told to just go out there and play. Unfortunately for the both of them, the performance really hasn't been there. At what point do the Cardinals start to pull back or try something different, or does this runway last for another several weeks?
Well, I think the first question I would say to that, and I hate to ask a question behind a question, is who do you replace them with? I mean, who in the organization has put himself in a position where he challenges Nolan Gorman for his spot on the roster? And the same can be said for Jordan Walker. I think if there was more competition at the lower levels in the minors, we probably would have a cutoff date. But at this point, we don't. And I'd be hard-pressed to tell you who another third base prospect is in the Cardinal organization, because they put their eggs in the Nolan Gorman basket a few years ago and thinking that he was going to be a guy that was going to be on your infield, be it at second base, and then when you pick up Arenado, you feel comfortable with that. But we always thought at some point he was going to be on your infield. And the question is, who behind him? Who's behind him that can do what we thought he could do, and that's provide some power?
Yeah, that's the key part, Claims, because we can sit here and say that somebody like Thomas Sajacy can come up, but he's not a 30 home run guy. Like, he's got a little bit of power, but he's not going to give you the type of power and the type of number of home runs and doubles that you wanted to see out of Nolan Gorman. I would push back on a little bit on one thing, though. Like, I don't think they've given the true runway to Gorman quite yet. It is it's May 9th, and he appeared in 5 games so far in the month of May. He appeared in 16 games in the month of April. Like, he's playing more than he's not. But if we're really talking about a guy having that runway, it's him being in the lineup every single day and getting that opportunity. And I know in the perfect world, the Cardinals actually would like to be doing that, but they're stuck in this spot that A, Nolan Arenado's on the team. B, there's other guys who are playing well. And, Alec Burleson just hit 2 home runs over the last week or so. Now Ivan Herrera's going to be back. They're carrying 3 catchers, so Herrera's going to have to DH a lot. Specifically to Nolan Gorman, this doesn't apply so much to Jordan Walker, but specifically to Nolan Gorman, this team is actually having a lot harder time giving him that true runway that they would like to be able to give him. And I don't think any of us know that whether or not, if Gorman is given that everyday opportunity and you just let him be in the lineup every day for 2-3 weeks, if that's going to be the thing that kind of unlocks him.
Yeah, and you know what, Matt? As we speak today, I don't see that. Because of there are guys in front of him that are playing better, and B, you're in a winning situation. I mean, you're a team that's playing well, so you don't want to rock the boat too much, and just to make sure to see if a guy can actually help your ball club next year.
I guess the only thing to be concerned about, and maybe neither of you are concerned about it, but should they be worried about allowing either of these players to get to a point where they are, mentally in their own heads and having trouble with the struggles and not being able to mentally come out of that? Do you worry about that with young players?
I think you do, especially now because young players are rushed to the game so quickly. A lot of these guys probably could use more seasoning. And I'm not just looking at the Cardinals. You look around baseball, there are a lot of young guys who really struggle early on a big league roster. Everybody wants to get their money's worth out of these individuals because they come with these high credentials. But man, this game is hard at the big league level. And the first thing you'll hear a player tell you is the game is a lot faster. I'm drinking water through a fire hose. I mean, all the things that let you know that there are days where they can be overmatched mentally more than physically.
Look, Jordan Walker is still 2 years younger than Aaron Judge's age when he had his first solid season in Major League Baseball. So we're talking about a super young dude in Walker. Gorman's not quite the same situation there. All I can really do on this, and you guys, Ron, you talked about this with Ali on Tuesday, because he was asked very specifically about, is it time to maybe send those guys down? And he said that you kind of look and see how they're handling things from an emotional standpoint, that when it does get to a point that they are being beat down, when it does get to a point where it's just not good, then you think about sending them down. But he was talking about Walker specifically, about him being up in the big leagues, being able to work with John Jay every day, being able to work with Brant Brown every day, how there's a lot of value in that. Look, I'm in the clubhouse for 45 minutes a day, and they know we're in there. Like, I don't know what's going on. Claves knows more than I am, but like none of us really know everything that's going on. So all I can do is listen to the words that come out of Oliver Marmol's mouth, who knows more than all of us. And if he feels good about where those guys are at in terms of handling the adversity, then all I can do is defer to that answer.
And the other thing with that, Matt, people think, well, we'll just send him to the minors and he can straighten some things out. I think that's also a mental obstacle for a lot of players to be up
the
and
demotion.
Down. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's a statement in its own right. And there's some guys, when you send them down there for what? I mean, to hone their skills against other minor league players. There's some guys you just have to sink or swim with. And I think we're looking at two guys in Gorman and Walker that are in that category. I don't think sending now, I would have sent Gorman out earlier last year just to see if we can get something going, because he really didn't spend a lot of time in the minors. Walker's situation, he spent a majority of last season in the minors. But, there comes a point when you get to a certain age and a certain time of days in the game that I don't know if minors really helps. I don't think it does you any good other than maybe give you a false confidence about what you can do. Or also, as you mentioned earlier, the term demotion is never a positive one.
No, it's probably really tough to sell it to players who you think are going to be a part of your organization for a long time, that, hey, yeah, we're sending you down, but we believe you're coming back. I mean, you probably have to be a special kind of person to be able to take that information and handle it the right way, instead of it looking like they're getting rid of you in the moment, Yeah. But you also have to be a special kind of person to be a big leaguer in the first place. So
yeah, exactly.
I would say that every situation is different. When you go to Chris Roycroft, who just came back, he got to relax for a moment when he got to AAA. The game had really sped up on him. He needed a chance to be able to breathe. I think that's the message they gave to Ryan Fernandez when they sent him down. With Luke and Baker, the message is, look, you're not getting any at-bats up here. Go down to AAA, get in the lineup every day, find your timing, we'll get you back here at some point in time. So every situation is different, where if you're talking to Jordan Walker, who's already been yo-yoed back and forth probably a little bit too much between the big leagues and the minor leagues, same thing with Gorman. The message at that point is very different. So this is not a all size, one size fits all type thing.
Well, at some point you are going to have to say to a player, hey man, you're going to have to figure it out, right? You're here. We want you here. You're going to have to figure it out. And I know he is still very young, but he's on the roster, and they told him they were giving him the runway. And my personal opinion is they should stick with it. I don't know what else they would do. All right, Matt Pauley, we will talk to you next week. Thanks for hanging out for a bit.
You bet.
That is Matt Pauley, host of Sports Open Line, and we'll have the pregame show tonight at 4:50, which means there is no Redbird Rush Hour, because the Redbird Rush Hour usually goes from 5 until 6 with Matt and Kevin Wheeler. But today we have the pregame at 4:50, and the Cardinals will have the first pitch in Washington at 5:45. The guy who will call that first pitch is coming up next. His name is John Rooney, and he will join the Gashouse Gang on 104.1 FM KMOX.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey guys, it's Glover. Right now, get 50% off your windows. That's half off plus no interest and no payments for 12 months and a free entry door with your window purchase. Call 314-334-2522. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley telling you about i3 Broadband. It might be time for you to go ahead and switch out your internet. It was amazing when the Pauley household brought in i3 Broadband. The speeds are so much faster. We're saving a few dollars. The service is fantastic. I never have to worry, a storm is coming in. I wonder if my internet's going to go out. They've got local service centers in St. Charles County and the Metro East. It is St. Louis people who are working for i3 Broadband. See if they're available in your neighborhood. Check them out, i3broadband.com.
It is beautiful out there, 67 degrees and sunny here in St. Louis. Going to get up to 72. The weather brought to you by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning and Electrical.
While you might not give a hoot about this week's space launch, you sure as sunshine care when your AC goes down. Well, good news, a Jerry Kelly per-producing tune-up is just 98 smackers right this very moment. $98.
JerryKelly.com. Ago, doctors said I'd never be independent after a bad car accident. Well, I proved them wrong. When proving who's the best in garage doors, Renner does it every time. Whether it's service or a new door, you're covered with top brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster. Keep your garage door running strong with Renner's $100 maintenance check, or get a free replacement quote. Call or click RennerDoorSTL.com. Renner, forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right, nice, soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
Just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, did you just have your house painted? Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, no, it's actually Rhino Shield.
877-25rhino.com.
Hey, it's Debbie Monterey, and now is a great time to be a home seller in the St. Louis market. Home values are up an average of 2.2% year over year, which means you can take advantage of high prices in a low inventory market. But you should act fast and start by talking to St. Louis's real estate expert, Gloria Liu, with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. While the average realtor sells 4 to 5 homes a year, Gloria has sold nearly 400 homes in the last 2 years. Plus, Gloria sells faster and for more money. Gloria Liu is so confident she will guarantee to sell your home at a price acceptable to you, or Gloria will buy it herself. It may seem like a good idea to use a discount realtor or that friend who sells a few homes a year, but it could literally cost you thousands of dollars. Worse, your home may not even sell. My advice is to call Gloria Lou today at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or find her online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fira Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, registered investment advisors. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
Now, the John Rooney Conversation on KMOX, sponsored by Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. And if you're a Missourian, we're for you.
1-2 pitch for Jordan Walker. Ground ball headed up the middle. And that's a base hit to center field. Donovan scores, so does Baker. 5-0 Cardinals in the 8th inning. Walker slaps his hands together and is congratulated by Stubby Clapp over at first base.
The Gashouse Gang is happening right now until 1 o'clock, and it is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. We are now joined by John Rooney, the voice you just heard. It's Mike Claiborne and Chris Ranji today on this Friday. John Rooney, how we doing?
I'm doing fine. How about everything in St. Louis?
Oh, yeah, man. Everything's good right now. The Cardinals have won 5 straight games, and they go into this one tonight with a 500 record. So I don't know. From a fan perspective, it feels a whole lot better when the team is at least at 500 as opposed to being, 3 or 4 games under. It just looks right. It looks better.
Well, I mentioned the other day, I don't look at that right now. I look at winning series, and that's what the Cardinals are doing. And if you're winning some series and you're splitting some 4-gamers like they did in Cincinnati, then you don't have to worry about it. Hello?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
There we go. I'm having a little trouble picking things up here.
It's not you, it's us.
One of the things, John, I think is important along with winning series, you look at the competition you're facing. You caught a good New York Met team, and you beat them twice in your own park. Pittsburgh is struggling. It cost the manager their job, but they're a team that if you let them stay in the game, they can be dangerous. And the Cardinals were able to play catch-up baseball and do all the little things and not beat themselves. And I think those are the things I try and pay attention to. How are you playing the opposition, no matter what uniform they're wearing?
Because you're going to get the best effort out of the Pirates every time. They won 2 out of 3 against the Cardinals over in Pittsburgh, and the weather conditions weren't very good. Both teams had to play with that. But the Pirates were able to go ahead and take that final game of the series and win 2 out of 3 there. You let them hang around, they will beat you. And those are teams that you have to beat if you set your sights on winning the division. But playing as well as the Cardinals did against the Astros, the Phillies, the Milwaukee Brewers, and then to be able to win a series against the Philadelphia Phillies, the New York Mets, I'm telling you, they have been dedicated to taking it a game at a time. As dull and boring as that may sound, that's the way you have to play this game. It's tough enough to win 1 game, let alone win a division.
So wins are wins, right? But do you, when they beat a team that is supposed to be really good, like the Phillies or like the Mets, if they take 2 of 3, when they play well against teams like that, especially early in the year, does that mean anything more to you?
It means they're developing very good habits. The way they go about their at-bats, they don't care if they're ahead or behind, and they go in there looking to give the best at-bat they possibly can. And Walker was able to drive that ball up the middle on the play-by-play highlight that you featured coming into this segment. That's very, very important to carry that through the rest of the season. But they really feel like they are in every game. They've only been out of a couple so far this year, and we'll approach 40. I think we'll be at 41 games at the end of this series here in Washington. So those are very good habits they're developing, and they are taking on the competition they're playing today. And they are finding out that they can hang with the Philadelphia Phillies, the Astros, and the Milwaukee Brewers in our division. And they can hang with the teams that are going to compete for postseason play. So why not us? That's kind of the feeling they have.
John Rooney joins us here on the Gashouse Gang. So you got this series that starts tonight against the Washington Nationals. Eric Fedde will get the start. He's 2-3, 4.78 ERA. What have you seen out of him this year?
Well, Eric Fetty, if he doesn't get too stingy with the strike zone, usually is in position to pitch 6, if not 7 innings. And if he has his sweeper working and he's locating his fastball where he doesn't get too much of the plate, he's pretty successful. That's what he did when he was pitching in Korea before he came back to join the White Sox last year. And he went 9-9 with the White Sox and the Cardinals, and he's had some pretty good moments with the Cardinals so far. One of the wins last year was against the Nationals, the team that he came to the big leagues with, and he shut them out for 7 innings. I'd love to see that tonight and let the Cardinals take their chances going up against their young left-hander tonight.
You know, John, one of the things about Fetty, he doesn't wow you, but, you know, you look at him 4 or 5 innings later and you say to yourself, you know, this is pretty good. I think one of the things that has hurt him is the strike zone. I think he's been squeezed a little bit, and when he gets the ball up, he gets hit hard. And
well, that happened in Boston.
Yeah. And if he can keep the ball down and get a good, consistent strike zone from the home plate umpire, whoever that may be, then he's a guy that can give you what you're looking for, the 6 innings, and turn it over to a bullpen, which is rested now. And what a job they've been able to do over the last week or so.
Yeah, I think that bullpen is starting to line up now, and that's a beautiful thing if you can get the bullpen going and have those assignments all set. And they're not going to be perfect all the time, but if they can succeed more times than not, you're going to see a lot more wins and holding on to leads as we get into the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. And for Fetty, he has as many walks so far as strikeouts. I think it's 25 walks, 25 strikeouts. And you'd like to be 2-to-1 strikeouts to walks if you really are on your game. And that's something I know he wants to improve on. But there have been times, guys, that I've seen him where I'm thinking he won't be out there in the 4th inning. And then you look up and it's the 6th inning and he's finishing that off. Whether he's ahead or behind, he's at least given his team a chance to come back or a chance to hang on to the lead and save the bullpen for later on in the series. So he's one of those guys. He knows what he wants to do. But if he can get that consistent strike zone that you talked about, Mike, I think then he's set for a pretty good night.
So how close do you think this Cardinals bullpen is right now? Because it's pitched a whole lot better lately. How close is it to being what they want it to be?
I still think they're trying to figure out some things about some players. Like, we're going to get Ivan Herrera back, and I'm told he'll be in the lineup tonight, and I'm not sure of the move they've made yet. That's supposed to be announced later on, maybe within the hour, but we'll know when we get to the ballpark. But I think the way they're defining themselves offensively, the way the starting rotation has fallen in line, I think Steven Matz has really been a good role player in either starting or being a veteran presence in the bullpen. That's been a big help. I think Phil Maton has been a big presence as far as a veteran goes in the bullpen to help the younger pitchers coming along. Gordon Graceffo is becoming the pitcher the Cardinals envisioned 3, 4, 5 years ago as he was making his way up the minor leagues. So when you get that bullpen defined, the other guys get settled into their roles, the at-bats that the Cardinals are providing, it keeps them in games. And if they're close, the Cardinals have a very good chance of winning.
Mike Claiborne is with us. John Rooney. It is Chris Ranji on the Gashouse Gang. We are getting ready for baseball. It's going to happen a little bit later on today. As I mentioned, the 4:50 pregame show. 5:45 will be the first pitch. Eric Fetty will have that. So as we sit here, John, we're well into the month of May. As you look back on what the Cardinals have done through just under 40 games of play, I mean, what's your general feel of this season?
Well, I'm still a wait and see. I mean, we have to get to that first checkpoint. I know Clave's checkpoint is Flag Day. I like to get to Memorial Day where you can really get a good feel for your team. And that's closing in. We're getting close to that. But what we noticed early in the season from the offense, that's the biggest surprise for me. The way they came out and they put together 9 or 10 games where they had 10 hits in each game. And the game that broke that streak, they had 9. They're staying in every game and they really feel like they can win. And I think they're learning to win. Like those 2 one-run games against the Mets. That's a good Mets team. That's a lineup that can burn you with one swing, just like Alonso did that Friday night game when he hit the 2-run homer off Sonny Gray that turned the night around for New York. But I think they are getting to the point where they're learning to get over the hump in those games. And the lumps they took on the road and in some close games early, I think they're benefiting from that right now, where they're getting a clue what they need to do to stay in those and then win them.
And the other thing about the offense, John, it's not just one guy. I mean, you have guys up and down the lineup that have been able to contribute. And if a guy gets a little cool, maybe cold, there's somebody to pick them up. And I think that's really been the key on why they've been so consistent and why they've had double-digit hits a whole lot of nights this season.
I think you're right about that, Claves, and the fact that like Jordan Walker's struggles, or even Lars Nootbaar, where he had some hard outs in a stretch where he only had a couple of hits and like 20-some at bats. He had some hard outs, and he took several walks. And he does some things to help beat the other team, even when the hits aren't falling for him. But Ivan Herrera losing that bat out of the lineup, the Cardinals just picked it up and went from there. And Joel Pozo was a good addition to the team to help stabilize the catching, and he gives you a good at bat anytime he's out there. Pedro Pajes has done a wonderful job preparing to play and has added to the offense for the Cardinals. But it is somebody different. Alec Burleson is beginning to pick it up. And anybody who writes off Burleson, I think, makes a big mistake. And I feel the same way about Jordan Walker. I think at some point he's going to figure it out. And I just don't want that to happen for some other team down the road. I'd like to see it happen right now. And the Cardinals are giving him that stated runway where he can go out there and perform and try to work through issues. And he got a big hit to help put the game away before we went on the road trip. So I think that's a step in the right direction.
Saw Victor Scott's speed a couple of days ago at the ballpark, scoring from first a couple of different times. And this was somebody who it just didn't quite work out for when he was here last year. But John, he's really, the opportunity he's been given this season, he has really taken it. And I don't mean a pun here, but he's run with it.
Well, it wasn't given to him either. It was an opportunity he created. He told Oliver Marmol during the offseason about his preparation, his mindset, and how he's going to make this team, and give him credit for going out there and doing it. Because Michael Ciani had a lot of credibility in the way he played center field, but Ciani just wasn't hitting enough to contribute to the offense. Well, Victor Scott came into spring training. He started hitting. He didn't let up. He started running. He didn't let up. His defense got better and better and better. And I think that's because of all the hard work that he's put in with John Jay, and all of the outfield play, I think, has been greatly improved this year because they're buying into what John Jay is teaching them and keeping them locked in pitch by pitch. John Jay does not want those outfielders taking one pitch off where the concentration happens to wane somewhere or the other. And I think that has paid big dividends for the Cardinals pitchers, for their defense, and so on. But Victor Scott earned that moment, and he is proving that his preparation set him up to have a pretty good year. And if he has a couple of games where it doesn't work out, he bounces back usually and puts together a pretty good streak. And again, he can beat you with what he does in the outfield, like saving the home run the other day. Mm-hmm. And he can beat you if he takes a walk and gets a stolen base that makes that walk look like a double or maybe a triple if he steals third too. He's an exciting player. And the speed game just drives the other team nuts. Whitey Ball did that for a long time. And to have guys that can move first to third or first to home like Victor Scott, and Mason Wynn can run, he can steal some bases. And with the way Pop Warner and Oliver Marmol, the other coaches, work on looking for tells in the other pitchers, the Cardinals, I think, are going to keep on running, and that's going to only enhance their chances.
John Rooney, have somebody on Twitter who wanted me to ask you if you remember if Pope Leo was in the broadcast booth in 2005 at any point.
I do not recall the Pope being in the broadcast booth, but I've seen the pictures where he was at the World Series.
Yeah. All right. So that's answered.
So there was some divine intervention.
There was. John Rooney, we appreciate it. We're going to be listening in tonight. The ball game is at 5:45. The pregame show is at 4:50. Don't be late.
Well, I have to head down for the bus right now, or I will be. Bye-bye now.
See you, John. John Rooney, voice of the Cardinals with Ricky Horton and Mike Claiborne. They will be on the broadcast. Claves is in town, though, right? You're still here in St. Louis.
Claves is in Washington.
Are you in Washington?
Getting on the same bus. I'm getting on the same bus with John here soon.
Oh, man, you better hurry up then. There are two buses, aren't there?
First bus has already left.
Okay, well, better hurry up for this next one. Mike Claiborne, Chris Ronji on the Gashouse Gang on KMOX.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're here for all of life's wins. Like when you get a new car, or new boat, or new driver, or when your son moves out, but your mom moves in, or you find out you're expecting again, or when one rental property turns into 2, then 20, or you realize they're all in Tornado Alley. Life is full of life events, so call your Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance agent or visit mofbinsurance.com to find an agent near you, and we'll make sure you have the right coverage for each of life's wins.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're for the people of Missouri, in good times and in bad. We're from Missouri families and Missouri communities. We're for giving back to those communities and lifting people up. And when Missouri weather rips through our state, we're for helping put back the pieces. We're for brighter days and new tomorrows. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. And if you live in Missouri, we're for you.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. I am quite aware of the dangers being on the road. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. These families' lives will be changed in an instant. We fight for these families as if they were our own. We've become America's largest injury law firm by winning cases just like these. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Injured? Dial #law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-969-0686, and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-969-0686. Call now, and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-969-0686 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-969-0686.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. Dreaming of a brand new home but don't want to wait? You are in luck. McKelvey has dozens of brand new move-in ready homes with tremendous savings. And take advantage of our special 30-year fixed financing from the Fives. We have a wide variety of luxury custom homes in prime locations, all with McKelvey's legendary quality and personal service. Visit McKelveyhomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
Get this, 42% of baby boomers don't even know how much money they have in their nest egg. If you're not sure where you stand in terms of getting ready for retirement, you should be listening to the All Financial Hour with Steve All.
Let's sit down and talk about your questions, because I think that's the most important thing that it is out there. It's what questions do you have?
Saturday mornings at 10 or Sunday evenings at 6, right here on KMOX.
Your garage door is the largest piece of moving equipment in your home. When it needs help, call the experts at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Their certified technicians repair all brands of doors and openers, and you can even schedule evening and weekend service. Just call 314-781-5200 and always look for the red ribbon. It's your assurance you've got the genuine, the original Overhead Door, the most trusted garage door company in St. Louis since 1926. For same-day service, schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. 314-781-5200.
Setting goals for retirement is one thing, but knowing how to achieve those goals is another.
What are your wishes, hopes, and dreams? What's retirement look like for you? Because everybody, that picture is different.
For tips on building a better nest egg, tune in to the All Financial Hour with host Steve All, Saturday mornings at 10 or Sunday evenings at 6, right here on KMOX. You can also visit yourmoneymattersstl.com for more details.
Now, back to the Gashouse Gang on your home of the St. Louis Cardinals. 1120 AM, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Show is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. Anything you've missed on the show will be on the Odyssey app. Just search for Gashouse Gang. Of course, you can watch it, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at KMOX Sports. It's Mike Claiborne and Chris Ranji with you. So in the early part of the season, Claibs, as we're looking at the Cardinals here, and again, 38 games into the season, so still a lot to go here. What has been the best surprise to you as you have watched them play so far?
That's a good question. I guess the emergence of Victor Scott, that's been really fun to watch because of what he brings to your ball club. I'm trying to think of something that really just jumps out. You know, the catching position, not just because of catch and throw, but the way they've been able to contribute offensively, whether it's been Herrera, whether it's been Pajes, or even Pozo. They've all been able to give you some really professional quality at bats. And, you know, we don't normally think about catching in that role, although we had one of the great ones in Yachty who was able to do it for a number of years. But, you know, these days, you know, we didn't see a lot of it last year, and we didn't have it. We didn't have it when we needed it. But I think that's been something that's been a pleasant surprise. And just watching certain guys in the bullpen really step up. And I started earlier with Gordon Graceffo. I know it's a small sample size, but I really see if what we've seen so far, I really see him being a guy that's going to be an important player in this bullpen for a few years.
I'll tell you what it is for me, and maybe it shouldn't be a surprise because I'm not surprised that he's pitching well. I think I'm surprised at just how well he is pitching right now relative to the rest of the National League, and that's Matthew Liberatore, who they have given the opportunity to start. I mean, Claibs, he's near the top of the league in a lot of pretty important categories, like, you know, the fielding independent numbers and even ERA, and he's not walking anybody. He is doing really well.
Chris, I would agree that that's probably the biggest. And I should have looked at that first. That I agree. His emergence, because we didn't know who he was until this year. I mean, he was in the bullpen. He had some spot starts, and he just wasn't where he needed to be. But last year, late in the season, he really started to make some improvement, and he's just built on it. And I would agree with you 100%. That's probably the most pleasant infusion of talent that we have on this ball club right now.
Because it was sort of like, all right, you know, we'll give you an opportunity here. And I don't think that we thought he was going to take it like that. And he's been really, really good.
He's taking it and run with it for sure.
Claibs, we will be listening in tonight to the broadcast. You got live at Lowe's tonight? Oh, no, you're on the road. What am I talking about? Next week, though, right?
No, the week after. We're on the road for a while.
Dude, oh, that's right.
This is a long road.
You're going to have Jose Martinez with you in 2 weeks.
We do. We do have him in 2 weeks.
All right, but we will listen into the pregame show, 4:50. Thank you, Mike Claiborne. Talk to you soon.
Right. You got it. Have a great weekend.
The first pitch tonight is at 5:45. Cardinals and Washington Nationals out east. I'm Chris Ranji. Thanks for listening in. We will be back tomorrow, Monday. We'll be back for the Gashouse Gang at 12 o'clock. You'll want to listen into that. Tom Ackerman will be with me on 104.1 FM KMOX.